Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the tattoo studies. You see coloring right here. As you see right here is I went ahead and drew like the numbers and say about four different say coloring picture diagrams right here. As you see talking about with tattoo studies, and you see right here is I went ahead and added say a drawing right here. Say of a dragon it is, and the way I went ahead and drew the dragon it is that kind of as I gave it wings, and of course kind of gave it say claws it is, and right here is that the way I went ahead and drew the dragon, I went ahead and drew it where it had flames. It would be coming out, but a lot of us would probably thinking about with tattoos, if you maybe thought about maybe getting one, or maybe the fact about your study about them, and in a lot of ways I was just thinking about that a lot of times with most people it's like that they think about it's like anything that they think it's pretty neat, or any type of character in mind that more likely that maybe they would want to wear. I guess to say that more likely that that's pretty much what it is that that you're wearing it whenever you have it tattooed. It is, and more likely that a lot of people probably thinking about is that they would tattoos though. But one thing I was also thinking about, of course, was a 3D tattoo. It is, and I don't even know if they make them, but I'm sure that they make something kind of like what I'm talking about is like for 3D a three-dimensional type tattoo is that if you have like that tattoo, let's say have a dragon, and has it to where it has the type of ink, the ink that's it's like that would cause it that's tattooed say on your arm or on your leg, that would show if it was actually it's like you crawling out. It's like talking about you popping out of your arm or your leg, or you say or wherever you have it tattooed at, and then of course it would do like which cause some type of symbol so far as maybe shooting out flames, or maybe sticking its tongue out, whatever it is. But and then you have right here is an artifact right here of say I guess I can go ahead and call it, it's like maybe the Wonder Boy or something like that. Right here, the extremely curious boy it is. But most of us are probably thinking about that whenever if you were to go out and get a tattoo it is, and knowing about that yeah it costs money, and then knowing about that unless if somebody were to give it to you for free it is. But on the other hand too, if you want something really artistic, I'm like I never had the only type of tattoo I think I can remember having was like what you call like one of those stick-ons. It was to where that you would get all wet and it was like a stick-on, but it's like those typical kids tattoos it is. But if you would actually go to an actual professional it is, and knowing about the type of equipment, the tools and stuff like that they have, just for say is that for what I heard that of course I did a little bit of studies that whenever I was in school too, that they talked about it, is that they would have like a kind of needle that they would use, like a special needle it is, to where that they would have all the the ink and stuff like that all inside of a needle it is, and then from there it's like it would look I guess the needle would kind of look like this right here, to where that if they were putting it if they were doing the artwork say on your arm it is, that they would see here it's like an example right here say of your arm it is, and they would show that see here that they would do like what you call like do the the actual tattoo. They start working and say do like a type of tattoo design like right on your arm right there, using a special kind of instrument needle it is. And a lot of us were probably thinking about that cost money of course to do that, and like I said, unless they were given to you for free, or knowing about that they give you a certain discount it is. But a lot of ways we probably thinking about why do we even get them, because knowing about between if it's permanent or if it's like just temporary, if it wears off after a couple of days it is. And say you got right here is tattoos, or maybe the way I can maybe spell it will be is like Tactatua. It's like the Tactatua. It's like knowing about for Tactatua, that a type of tattoo. It's like so far as you pronounce it as that, is knowing about. It's like really, I'm like where you just what you call is like want to just like want to act like you're all that just to get it or something like that. But the tattoo, but on the other hand too, that knowing about is that my opinion about tattoos is a lot of people probably think about kind of like a birthmark. It is for most of us, feel like when with the birthmark it is with the birthmark that we're probably thinking about with a birthmark. Why people even get it's like with the birthmark that it's like something that you were born with, of course, and knowing about that yeah, it's like if you have to pay to have it removed or something like that. But and then of course you got right here is an example of, say, if I say Hello Kitty, that type of design, and of course with the cross. But the way I think about it with the amount of money it costs, of course, just to have the artwork done, is just knowing about that. If you were to get a tattoo done, it is, and just knowing about that yeah, that a lot of people probably thinking about. Well, all my friends have gotten them, just like people probably thinking about, just like the thing about getting your ears pierced. It's like knowing about. You get your tongue pierced, whatever it is that a lot of people, I'm sure, that may have had their ears pierced at one time, or maybe their tongue pierced, or maybe their eyelid pierced, or whatever, and that knowing about that yeah, your friends or whoever had gotten them done, and then knowing about that, next thing you know, you want to go ahead and pay the money just to have them done. It is, but on the other hand too, that knowing about that, yeah, I think about. Maybe how it's like there may be some people I say, well, in order to be able to be a part of my club, you gotta get a tattoo. You gotta get a tattoo of this, what you call is like this certain thing it is. You gotta get a tattoo, and a lot of people are thinking about that. Really, then maybe don't be a part of their club. It is, but on the other hand too, that knowing about that, seems like that's what happens sometimes that after somebody gets them or whatever, then the next thing you know, then they may want to pass the word off to somebody else, saying that, hey, you should get one, you should sign up for this, or you should sign up for that. It is, hey, you could win like what you call like you could win a bouncy ball or anything like that. You can win in the competition, of course, but on the other hand, too, the way I think about it, I'm like, really, that with tattoos it is that I don't in a lot of ways that the people are thinking about, if they're just temporary, that maybe that yeah, they'll be kind of like a fun thing to be able to have. But and just knowing about the type of tattoos that maybe you can get nowadays, and just knowing about if they're going to be 3D, it is talk about wearing something in 3D, it is. And I was thinking also that if you want to have like what you call is like your hometown tattooed on your back, it is. If you want to have like what you say is the house where you used to live at or whatever, tattooed on your back. And I'm sure a lot of people probably think about, oh, I'm not that stupid. Talk about is like maybe your favorite beer type, your favorite beer type or anything like that, or maybe your favorite video game, or if it's what you call is like maybe like what you call is like maybe your favorite initial, it is from a famous ball player, it is SVT or something like that, SVT for the Super Visual Tournament or something like that, SVT. And for like NFL, NFL games or anything like that. And the way I think about it, I'm like that with any type of artwork it is, you have right here is to say it's the fairy, and I went ahead and drew us like a fairy as kind of say an example right here. But besides, we say is between girl tattoos and boy tattoos it is. But the way I think about it, I'm like, I never had them done, and on the other hand too, that knowing about with me that if the people were to get them and maybe get them in 3D, it is, or if they were to maybe get them to where that maybe they glow in the dark. I'm like, I don't know if they give out any tattoos that would what you call like light up real bright, especially if you're going to be in the darkened area. Then knowing about that, you're going to have a tattoo that glows in the dark. It is, and a lot of ways, I'm probably thinking about if you were to actually write on your skin, it is, and just knowing about that. knowing about how sensitive your skin is that knowing about it, that yeah, if you're going to wear it, and then how long it's going to be there for, stuff like that. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is like between 3D tattoos and 4D tattoos and the other type of tattoo is just knowing about that the people are thinking about that yeah, that if between say a square that represents, it's like what you call, it's like knowing about that it's like a square, or if it's the rectangle right here, like knowing about with these different shapes right here, and just knowing about really, you're not going to pass the test, man, unless if I give you the best of luck, is knowing about have the tattoo of the shape on not on your shirt, but it's going on your bottom, or if it's going on your toe or something like that. That more likely people probably thinking about that yeah, the best of luck to pass the test is go ahead and get something tattooed on your ankle, or say on your wrist or anything like that. That would show. It's like so far as maybe a few answers to the questions it is. But on the way I think about it, it's like between, say, we got is with the dragon it is, and I go ahead and maybe use a little bit of purple right here for the dragon. But yeah, a lot of people would probably think about that if you're gonna get a tattoo done, and just knowing about something that maybe a Star Wars character or anything like that. They're probably thinking about that have the reason to have the tattoo done more likely would be, it's like knowing about that something to remember by or anything like that. But the way I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that unless if you really want it done, then more likely you're probably thinking about, you might as well get a t-shirt. You might as well get a t-shirt, get a 3D t-shirt, because more likely they could probably thinking about that yeah, you could be maybe doing a little bit of damage, of course, to your skin, and of course, to your arm too. But knowing about between an allergy shot or a flu shot or a tetanus shot or whatever you call it, a lot of people probably thinking about that whenever they work with the lasers and stuff like that, especially I think the labs that whenever they work with the lasers and stuff, they could probably thinking about that the type of ink that they use. I'm sure they say the ink is not poisonous or not, but it's the type of ink that safely is capable of going into your skin. It is, and doing the type of artwork it is. But in a lot of ways, the way I think about it, I'm like, yeah, really, people maybe should be spending more of their money, maybe that the fact about, if they want something for remembrance, it is maybe more likely a t-shirt, maybe a pair of pants, maybe a pair of tennis shoes. A pair of tennis shoes, it's like, or a flag. I'm like, people, the way I think about it, I usually think about is that, if you want to buy something to remember by, maybe a coffee cup, I would maybe suggest maybe something, to drink out of, or maybe a keychain. I would probably suggest maybe a keychain. A lot of people probably thinking about if there's anything particular, such as a mascot or anything like that, maybe a keychain. But in a lot of ways, people probably think about, well, a tattoo don't break. And on the other hand too, that I would like to have something to remember by. On the other hand too, that but the way I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that notice the thing twice, of course, before we get it, because like with me, that just thinking about with the tattoos it is that with the tattoos that knowing about that the types of things that you could be doing to your body whenever you get them, it is. And the way I think about it, between what you call is like between drinking and of course with smoking, on the other hand too, that knowing about with me is like with tattoos though, is that people probably thinking about that that maybe you got teased a lot just because maybe some embarrassing acne or whatever you call it, a few rashes, maybe a few scars that were on your face, maybe too much hair, you say, on your face, whatever it is. Maybe you just you got too much suntan on your face, man. You got too much suntan on your face. You ought to get a tattoo on your face just to cover up the suntan. But in a lot of ways, people probably thinking about, really, if it really matters about what other people think, is just knowing about, really, it's like the whole part about it's like what the true looks. But on the other hand too, that knowing about it's like talk about as a study about, you say, for the tattoo colorings, is like talk so far as the tattoo studies.